I'm Kevin Gordon. I'm senior principal at TVS, and my role on the Music City Center was I was the design principal. I think from the start, it was highly collaborative with representatives of the city, including Mayor Dean at the time, who was a very progressive visionary for what he thought Nashville could and should be, but also members of the local conventioners and visitors bureau, and particularly a gentleman named Butch Spirit. And when we started this commission, like all of the ways that TVS approaches our work, we sought to ground it in the context of what does it mean to do a building in Nashville? Or what could this building mean as a representation of the Nashville culture? So Bush was fascinating. He organized a number of private tours for me, took me behind the scenes in a lot of sound studios associated with Music Row for the country music kind of industry, took me to a very remarkable and one of the few remaining vinyl record printing or pressing houses in America. So is that sort of behind the scenes tour of Nashville that very few people see that started kind of inspiring us toward our kind of a common goal between TBS and Mayor Dean and the Conventioners Visitors Bureau to make this project representative and evocative of the local music industry. We want a progressive building. We want something, that's, iconic and memorable, but certainly it has to represent the quality of music within Nashville. I think a lot of our work over time is not based on a single representative metaphor of a sense of place. It's usually a collection of metaphors that help, I think, ground the visitor as well as the city or citizens in how this building or how a convention center can be, again, a representative totem of the local culture. So in addition to how to make a building or a facility that makes you feel like you're inside a musical instrument and represents the music culture of Nashville. We also sought to ground it in this remarkable landscape that surrounds Nashville and the gentle rolling hills. If you've made the drive from Atlanta to Nashville, you slip through these highway canyons of these cleft limestone sort of canyons that slip through. So there's a series of moves about the building where the roofs represent, again, the rolling hillscape of Tennessee, of that region, but also some of the interior aspects evoke these natural limestone canyons that are either natural or man-made. So we were very intent on again, grounding it in how does it represent or evoke the natural landscape that surrounds Nashville. When we were fortunate enough to secure the commission for the Music City Center, after the site was settled down and the basic planning partie, as we say, was settled with all the constituents, the broader team, again, including representatives of the city, started to discuss, okay, what is the driving design narrative behind this, what was at the time the largest civic commission in Nashville. Mayor Dean and others, Butch Spirit, and were eager to promote, of course, the music industry, and rightfully so. So we decided as a group to say, okay, what would it be like to be inside of a musical instrument? So what would it be like to be inside of a piano, or what would it be like to be inside of a mandolin? So we took some guitars and mandolins and cut them up and put cameras inside of them and said, this is the sort of the spatial quality of being inside something. And it was interesting to be inside of a mandolin with this particular shape. And also, light does enter through the sound hole of a guitar or a mandolin. And pianos were also fascinating to sort of to deconstruct because of they have a tectonic quality to them with all the strings and hammers and keys they're all fascinating and beautiful. So the quality of being inside of a musical instrument finds its way, I think, memorably and profoundly in the Grand Ballroom, which is just this stunning experience of being in an abstraction of I'm going to say a mashup of being inside of a guitar, a mandolin, a piano. The exhibit hall structure we incorporated a very novel truss system called a bowstring truss, which was immediately evocative of a fiddle Expo. So there were a number of spaces that we, in an abstract way, made sure that there was some feeling for a visitor that you were inside of a musical instrument. And that is tangible. And it's not something you have to go up and, put a plaque on the wall and say, hey, you're inside of a musical instrument. A lot of visitors really do understand that quality, and we've had a number of really kind compliments over the years about this is remarkable in terms of being inside of a ballroom that makes me feel like I'm inside of a musical instrument. And the ballroom, by the way, was designed because it has a fully functioning stage with side wings, and it was designed to be an adjunct home for the Country Music Awards. So the feeling of being inside a musical instrument, I think, was important for the venue in a lot of contexts. When we started, again, we're fortunate enough to secure this commission. Our first mission was to lead a number of public workshops about where this convention center could be in the downtown context, and looked at a number of sites, settling on this one at the corner of 5th and Demonbreun, which was a spectacular opportunity. After we settled on the site, TVS led a master planning effort to start identifying, knowing that this building would have significant impact in terms of the number of folks visiting this facility on an annual basis. How do you collateralize upon that visitation to start, grooming a whole district of entertainment, hotels, and other opportunities? So we master planned it to identify, I'll call it a halo of hotel pads and entertainment destinations that remarkably, and I'll say this is never seen anything like this in my career. All of those building pads were realized within a 10-year window. It's not solely due to the convention center, although the convention center is a huge driver for it in terms of putting people in restaurants and what we call heads on beds, or heads in beds rather. But it has to do with it, sort of an overlap between Nashville becoming a destination city in and of itself, and also the impact of the convention center, the Bridgestone Arena, the Shammerhorn Auditorium, and the surrounding museums. It has become a remarkable destination district that, again, we're incredibly proud to have master planned, and kind of overwhelmingly proud to see that this thing was built out within a 10-year window. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. A convention center, when they're done well, which this firm excels at, they always have profound impact on a local economy in terms of local airport traffic, we call it airlift. How many visitors are booking hotel rooms within a walkable distance of a convention center, and also knowing that within the course of a day, you might spend 8 to 10 hours within a convention center. So then you leave in the evening and you have a walkable set of destinations for food and beverage and entertainment. So they have profound economic impact within a city. The convention center was in a previous downtown address. It was not well attended. It didn't have a great guest experience, and it had a low ratio of what we call exhibit to meeting and banquet space. In other words, there just wasn't a lot of great meeting and banquet space within the building. New building righted that and provided a clear market-oriented mix of exhibit and meeting and banquet. It was one of the trendsetters in terms of having a 60,000 square foot remarkable ballroom and a 20,000 square foot junior ballroom. A good friend who managed the building, Charles Starks, one day said to me, he goes, Kevin, he goes, I hate you. Well, Charles, I said, I hate you too. Why do you hate me? He goes, in our old facility, we made $4 million a year in food and beverage revenue. He goes, in this new one, I make $40 million a year in food and beverage revenue. He goes, I'm just never home now. He goes, I don't get a night off. I don't get weekends off, because we are so successful that we have, again, increased our F&B revenue tenfold. And I think that's largely due to a couple of things. The building is exceptionally well designed, and it has great visitor appeal. I think it brought to the market the right mix of meeting and banquet space and a hospitality sense of orientation that just wasn't common in the market, coupled with the fact that, again, Nashville was becoming a hot destination in and of itself. So the metrics are unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of their internal F&B revenue, their internal bookings, but again, also this collateral halo of economic benefit of the hotels that have been built over time, the restaurants that have been built over time within a 10-year period. never seen anything like it. When a civic building is done well, and it's both lyrical to be in and of itself, it represents, kind of a progressive set of community values, but also by the nature of its being successful, that it is a profound revenue generator in and of itself for all the collateral tourism industry and hotels and airlift. It does say that architecture well done, well considered, and based on a visionary program can be a significant contributor to a sense of civic identity, which in turn I think leads to upbeat sense of progressive growth that occurs. And so I do believe that these buildings are sort of, not only are they iconic in their physical presence, but they're also iconic in their cultural presence. And I believe that iconic cultural presence is what kind of empowers a city to believe in itself and to grow. For me, it was probably the most positive, rewarding experience I've had in my career.